Hello, everybody. So, welcome to the Divine Feminine Week of Rebecoming the One 2023. I am Martha Alter-Hines, and I am here with my co-facilitator and my co-host for this week, Vanessa Nixon.
I am so honored and delighted to be co-hosting this week with you, Martha.
Yay. Yeah. So I want to give everybody a sense of you, Vanessa, just briefly, and give a little bit of background on why I asked you to co-facilitate this week. And then we're going to go into a little bit of a conversation about what's coming up this week, how you all can be involved, and the whole range and array of what we have planned. And I think I can speak for you that we're both really excited about offering. It's like, I feel like this whole symposium, but every step of the way is like getting to hand people these presents, like being like, I don't know, a Mrs. Claus or something.
Right, exactly.
It's just so much fun.
It's just so incredible.
Mhm. Yeah. So yes, so everybody, if you don't know me, you've probably gotten a little bit familiar with me by this point. But again, I'm Martha Alter-Hines, and if you don't know Vanessa, I want you to now meet Vanessa. And so Vanessa Nixon is a traditional naturopath. She's a belly dance instructor. When you get to the interview that I did with Vanessa for this week, I'll read her whole bio there, and you'll really get to know her, and everything about what she does in the world. But just to briefly say, I asked Vanessa to be the co-facilitator of this week for a lot of reasons, but among them are that Vanessa brings this incredible integrity, impeccable, I would say, responsibility, and I can really count on you in many ways. I mean, both in just on a practical level, but also in terms of the wisdom you bring, the integrity you bring, and your perspective, your true desire to hold healing space in the world, and specifically for people who identify as women, but really just for our world. And I worked with you beginning last year in Rebecoming the One 2023. I think was the first time we really connected. And then we co-led a few things since then. And I was part of a summit that you ran. So I've witnessed you and watched your work ethic, and just your way of being in the world on many levels. And I know that I can trust you with people I care about, which is a huge part of what I would need to feel in order to choose somebody to co-facilitate this with me. So thank you so much for being all of those things and for doing this. And
well, thank you for those words. That really warms my heart. And I feel the same about you, which is why I've continued to really be so pleased and honored to have these opportunities to collaborate with you. And this this symposium, as you said, was kind of where we really started to get to know one another. And so I'm just so excited that, this year I am able to support you and in these various ways of, not only being a speaker in this week, the Divine Feminine Week, and leading a workshop later in the week, but being the co-host and the co-facilitator of this week has been such a pleasure and such a wonderful opportunity for my own growth, for my own growth and learning, and being able to speak with these amazing women and all of the folks that have come together to create this Divine Feminine Week has just been an incredible process for me. And and I hope for everybody watching as well.
yeah, same. And so just to outline for everybody, the talks we do have that are being released at the same time as this video, so they're now all live for you for the Divine Feminine Week, they include talks by Anne Baring, Vanessa Nixon, Jennifer Ruth Russell, Michele Cipressi, Catriona Blanke, Michelle Dench, and Erin Duffy-Burke. And Vanessa, you were part of those all of those conversations except the one with Anne Baring, because the one with Anne Baring kind of happened last minute, and there were just different circumstances with that one. But you've watched that video also, and it's amazing beyond words. So you were part of all of them, and except the one with Anne Baring, but you watched that one. So when you kind of step back now and look at the whole picture of these free talks that we have, that we're now releasing for the Divine Feminine Week, what stands out to you, or what arises in you? What's alive in you as you look at the whole thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. And many things come up for me. The first thing was just that these talks really brought out different perspectives for me of the divine feminine, and how it's not something that's separate from us. It is us. And whether we're female or male, or whatever gender we identify with, we have feminine energy as well as masculine energy. And I think that the significance of the divine feminine is that the feminine energy has been suppressed for so long in our culture, and that now is the time to really allow this divine feminine energy to rise, and to understand how important it is for that divine feminine to have life again. And I was saying to you before we recorded this video, the other thing that really I'm seeing your genius in how you have structured this symposium, in having week 1 be the divine feminine, and having week 4 being, what did you call it again? Week
Bringing
4.
us all to wholeness,
Bringing
rebecoming.
us all to wholeness. It feels to me like the whole symposium is held in the divine feminine, because as I got from the your interview with Anne Baring, and it really resonates with me, it's the divine feminine that is going to bring us to wholeness, because it has been suppressed, and because we have needed that. It's been missing for so long, and in order to bring us to wholeness, we really need to focus on bringing it back. So I feel like that specifically, the divine feminine, is what our world needs to heal and to bring us to wholeness again. And so having the divine feminine in week 1 and having week 4 and bringing us together in wholeness, it just seems like it's a very complete structure. We start out with the divine feminine, and then go through the other weeks, and then coming together again. So that's what I'm feeling. That's what is kind of being brought forth in me from these talks, and from just the energy of this entire symposium.
Beautiful. Yeah. And the structure of it was really not my brain doing that. It was the spirit world essentially showing me what to do. So I find that reflection really interesting. And because my logical brain, it keeps wondering, well, why are you starting with the divine feminine? Why don't you start with the divine person? Or, I don't know. Um, and I don't have a logical explanation, but I love that I mean, I think that's beautiful, and I would love to hear other people's thoughts on, do you agree with that? Would something else feel better? Why or why not? Or I think that even that is just a really interesting reflection. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I would love to hear if other people resonate with that, if
Mhm.
that's making sense, if that's touching someplace in you that, feels really authentic.
Yeah. And then when we get to next week, the divine masculine, and one thing I want to emphasize about all of these weeks is that they are for all of us. Whatever your gender identity happens to be, please, you're very welcome here in the divine feminine week. You're very welcome in the divine masculine week. You're very welcome in the divine person week. You're welcome at the whole thing. It's not, this week, for example, isn't just for people who identify as women. That is not the case. And but in the divine masculine week, one of the topics that is really alive and interesting for me is this question of, so there's certainly this reemergence of the divine feminine in the world. And I agree, it feels incredibly important and very key to the healing our world needs. And then how does that compare to what is being needed in the world of more the divine masculine, or with people who identify as men also? So there's a whole set of conversations coming next week that are deeply moving for me, and I'll just be really curious and interested, and really wanting to hear and listen from hear all of you and your reflections on how does this conversation around the divine feminine then flow into the conversation around the divine masculine, and then of course the rest of the month. Right, it's just, I feel like there's no black or white answers with any of it, and I have a lot of curiosity and I have a lot of feelings just of all kinds with all of it, and but most of all, curiosity to hear everybody's perspective.
Right, right. Yes, yes. And I too am curious, as you are listening to each talk, what's coming up for you, and how are they flowing together, and what kind of perspectives are being touched, and are they new perspectives? Are they places where you've already been feeling into? So yes, I'm really curious to see what takeaways you have from this week in particular.
Yeah. And one more thing I just want to mention about the free talks that I think is so cool. And actually it's true about the optional paid workshops also, but we have speakers this week from all different perspectives on life, or all different, I guess you could call them expertise, right? So in this week of the divine feminine, we have Anne Baring, who is 91 years old and is a scholar, a world-renowned scholar on the divine feminine. So she's coming from that academic and spiritual perspective. Then we have Vanessa, who is again a naturopath and a belly dance instructor. And so you have another perspective that's incredibly beautiful. And then we have Catriona Blanke, who is a storyteller, so beautiful. Then we have Michele Cipressi, who's coming more from the perspective of the divine feminine through art, yet again beautiful. We have Michelle Dench, who is an astrologer, yet again incredibly beautiful, and but a different perspective. Jennifer Ruth Russell and Erin Duffy-Burke, I would say both are more coming through the lens of Christianity and the divine feminine in various ways, moving through their relationships to Christian archetypes. And am I missing anything there? I think I've mentioned all of the speakers.
Yes.
But I just think it's like it weaves together different threads, into one tapestry. And of course, there's so many other threads that aren't part of that, but they're there in spirit, is what I feel like.
Mhm.
And that's something I find really, really wonderful. It's almost like tangible,
Mhm.
all the different ways that the divine feminine is getting woven through the week.
Absolutely. Yes, I feel the same way. And I love how you have described that as different threads of a tapestry, because I really do feel like they are very different perspectives, but they weave together so flawlessly.
Mhm. Yeah. So then, just to give everybody a sense of the layout of this week and how you can get involved. So like we've said, the free talks are now released. They're being released late on Sunday. I'm in California. Vanessa and I are both in Pacific time zone. So they're being, for our time, being released late on Sunday night, June 4th. and then you have time to watch these indefinitely. They're not going away. So these free talks are just here for you. I would say, please take your time, watch what calls to you. If you need time to just be with one, great. If you want to watch all of them in a row, great. Whatever feels right for you, do that. And then on Wednesday at both 10 a.m. Pacific and 6 p.m. Pacific, there are going to be live optional community sharing circles. And those are available for anybody who has paid for anything here in the symposium. So if you paid for a workshop, or you bought the all-in-one bundle, or if you want to even just give a $10 donation to the symposium period, and just pay the $10, then please come to these live sharing circles, where it'll be a time really to just be in community and have conversations with like-minded people or different-minded people, just sharing and hearing and listening and witnessing each other in various ways. So that's going to be on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, Vanessa and I will be co-facilitating the live free panel discussion. And over the course of this week, we would love to hear your questions, your thoughts, your suggestions for discussion topics for that panel discussion. So I've created a form that you can fill out to submit questions, and that is linked here in the site. So please, if you can do that by Wednesday, that would be really helpful to us so we can plan for Thursday. But so that panel discussion will be recorded. It will be at 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you're able to be there live, we would love to have you. And if you're not able to be there live, it'll be recorded and I'll upload it to the site. So that's also no problem. And then on Friday is going to be 3 optional, very exciting paid workshops. And all the paid workshops, everything that is a paid offering has, sliding scale set of options for payment. So I'm trying to make it very accessible at the same time that it's also supporting those of us who have been putting work into this symposium. So on Friday, the 3 optional paid workshops are Vanessa's belly dance. What is the exact title? Do you remember the exact title of your workshop?
It is called Moving as the Divine Feminine, an Introduction to Sacred Belly Dance.
Beautiful. Cannot wait for that. Catriona Blanke is going to be doing a storytelling workshop, which also I'm super excited about. And then the 3rd workshop is on Friday is going to be with Kelley Hunter. So any of you who are into astrology or might be familiar with Kelley Hunter, she's a very, very, very well-known astrologer. She's been doing a lot of interviews with Pam Gregory in the last months, and Kelley is especially well known for her work with the Kuiper belt objects, but she has also written a book on Lilith, actually 2 books on Lilith, and she does a lot of work with the divine feminine in astrology. So the workshop she will be doing for us on Friday is going to be on the divine feminine, essentially the workshop is called The Cosmic Feminine. And so she'll be looking at specifically the moon, Venus, and Black Moon Lilith in the astrology chart. And you're welcome to be there if you don't know anything about astrology, and if you're a practicing, well-seasoned astrologer. Any range of astrology knowledge is great. Kelley is amazing. Her free talk actually comes in the last week of the symposium, because she's doing a free talk on what she's calling cosmic couples. So I can't even explain how much I loved that conversation, but that's coming in week 4. But her paid optional workshop is this Friday with the cosmic feminine. So those are the 3 workshops we have coming up on Friday. And with each week, you can, if there's one particular workshop that calls to you, you can pay for just that workshop. Or if you want to do all 3, let's say, of this week's workshops, you can buy those 3 as a bundle. Or if everything more than 3-ish things call to you, then you can get the all-in-one bundle. And I've actually priced it so if you choose the all-in-one bundle and choose to do it at the lowest price that I'm offering, it comes out to something like less than $10 a workshop. So, I'm really trying to make this as accessible as possible. So yes, please join us at any and all of that, whatever calls to you. We would love to have you there. And another free component of all of this is the online circle forum, the sharing circle forum, which is also linked here, and people are already having conversations in there, and we will be, monitoring that and jumping in, and we would love to hear from you there as well. Is there anything I've forgotten or anything you want to clarify, Vanessa?
There's so much here, and I know it can kind of get confusing. So I'm so glad that you have delineated all of that. And I think one thing that I just want people to understand, so I want to reiterate the fact that, there's so many online events, summits, and symposiums where you have a very limited amount of time to watch the free talks. And I just want everybody to understand that this is not one of those kinds of events. Martha has so generously made the decision to make all of the free interviews and talks available indefinitely. So if you're feeling like, oh, a whole month is just too overwhelming, I can't be present to all of these things for an entire month, you don't have to be, because if you sign up for this free symposium, which you have if you're here, it will be available for you indefinitely, as long as you have. As long as you want to continue watching these free talks, you can. And yes, there are optional paid offerings, and we would love you to participate in those as well. But all of these free talks from all of the 4 weeks during June will be available indefinitely. So you can always go back and watch them whenever they call to you.
And the recordings of the paid workshops will also be available indefinitely. So like Vanessa's belly dance workshop is timeless, right? Like there's no time when that won't be relevant. And you can always come back to any of it over and over and over again. And yes, and I just want to I've said this in other places, but I just want to emphasize that part of my intention with all of it is that it's a truly healing environment and a truly healing experience for people. So my background is largely as a psychotherapist specializing in trauma treatment and attachment treatment, right? So I'm really deliberately structuring things in a way and giving predictability and consistency and like a routine that, is rhythmic, because I'm trying to create an environment where you can feel like your nervous system can relax. Like we all can just relax and feel safe and feel held. And so that true actual healing can occur in ourselves, in our world, in our community, in existence. So again, that's part of why I'm making it available indefinitely, so that you don't feel rushed. Your nervous system doesn't feel on edge in any way. I want you to really feel like you can let go into the experience. So that's my intention.
And
Yeah.
thank you so much, Martha, for that beautiful intention and for bringing us all together here. And thank you to all of those of you who are here with us as well. And again, we just really, we want to welcome you and to support you in your healing. And we want to hear your perspectives and what is coming up for you as you join in this journey with all of us.
Absolutely. And just be in touch anytime. You can email me, you can email Vanessa, you can, there's many ways to be in touch with us throughout this whole time. And yeah, again, thank you. Thank you, Vanessa.